Hello, welcome to episode 187 of Learn, Do, Become Radio. This is April Perry, and today we're talking about making a plan for inevitable obstacles. If you're new to Learn, Do, Become, we help people who are drowning in the details of life to create simple systems so they can do what matters most. And we had a team email conversation this week about some essential mindset principles that need to be understood when diving into our STEP program, Steps to Everyday Productivity. That's our program that helps you to build your full Command Central. And we worked with thousands of students over the past decade, and we've noticed a common trend among those who start but never finish. And it is this: they haven't mentally prepared for the obstacles that will inevitably come into their lives. So today, my goal is to help all of us to prepare for those obstacles, know what to do, and hopefully to help you to know that you're not alone and that there's a whole team and community cheering for you and here to support you. All right, so in theory, we all know that challenges are going to occur. But it's too common for life situations to halt our progress and cause us to just throw in the towel, right? So Coach Jill, she is one of our amazing team members here at Learn to Become. As we were having this email conversation, she shared this beautiful thought. She said, if we can connect their initial ambition and energy to the end goal and result, including the bumps along the way, I think we will see a greater success and long-term implementation of STEP. If there isn't a plan for these obstacles, it can completely derail a person from the progress they have made or want to make in STEP. And then she went on to share this wonderful process. So first she said, identify our excuses. Then assess our excuses to help us foresee potential obstacles. Now, I love this. I want to pause for a moment because when I think about anything I'm working toward, let's say it is something like, okay, I want to set up some better routines to maybe keep our house going. Well, the excuses would be things like, well, no one else is going to help me, or I'm going to be tired, or we're going to go back to doing things the way we've always been doing them. So then as we assess those excuses, we can start seeing the obstacles. Like, okay, I might put a routine in place and then no one's going to want to do it with me. Or there will come a day I'm too tired to do it. Or maybe the routine I set up isn't going to be really the right routine. Maybe it won't be optimal for our family or situation. So just looking at those excuses and then helping yourself to foresee those obstacles, that's just powerful. So I love that. Then she added, once we see the potential obstacles, ask, what is an effective action to overcome this adverse thought or situation? And when you ask yourself a question like that, it's really amazing how your mind starts to come up with some better examples. So if you think, okay, well, if I do set up a routine and my family doesn't want to go along with it, well, what action could we take? Could we have maybe a family conversation where we brainstorm, ways to make it work better? Could we do some practice sessions where we go over the routine over and over and over again and just practice and help it become a habit? Maybe do we figure out some ways that we can support one another in a variety of things so that as our family is putting this new routine in place, maybe putting their shoes away or putting backpacks away or loading the dishes right after dinner, that they know that they're being supported in the areas where they need support. And we feel like we're all helping each other, something like that. And then she shared, you can identify if-then statements for overcoming the obstacle. An example is, if I feel like I am overwhelmed and can't learn the system, then I will take 3 deep breaths and pick just one of my daily STEP routines to check. Okay, I love that. She then shared, you can identify if-then statements focusing on the end result. For example, if I take time to implement STEP in my life, my spouse, my children, and I will be able to spend more quality time together. I love that idea of envisioning the end result when you're kind of in that, messy middle. And then she finished off with acknowledge how it will feel to overcome any obstacle. Like you'll feel excited or proud or strong or brave. And these are all written on our show notes page, learndobecome.com/episode 187. So if you want to come read it, review it, practice it, it's all here for you. Now, this helpful perspective that Jill offered goes really well with a concept that I read from Heidi Grant Halverson, who's the author of, I think it was an article called 9 Things Successful People Do Differently, but it was published in the Harvard Business Review Guide to Getting the Right Work Done. And I have that linked on our show notes page if you want to check out that book. I'm reading it right now. It's so good. And it's a variety of authors all compiled, and it's amazing. So Heidi shared, grit is all about not giving up in the face of difficulty, even when you're tired or discouraged. And the best predictor of not giving up is how we explain that difficulty in the first place. When you're having a hard time, what do you blame? Okay, such a good question to reflect on. She goes on to echo what Carol Dweck shared in her book, Mindset. We can either lean toward having a fixed mindset, which says that if we're not good at something, we never will be, or we can lean toward a growth mindset, which essentially says that if we don't succeed at first, there are things within our control that we can adjust, like our effort or strategy, planning, etc. Then Halverson adds, the next time you find yourself thinking, but I'm just not good at this, remember, you're just not good at it yet. This concept has actually been really helpful for me this past week because I went through some pretty low moments. And, it's one of those perfect storm weeks when it feels like everything is too hard and nothing is working out right. And yes, I realize that's all or nothing thinking, and I'm doing much better now. But I was just struggling with a week-long chest cold. You can probably still hear it in my voice. Some specific needs in our family, a couple of other random health issues, some disappointment regarding a project I was working on, and some tricky circumstances that were just out of my control. And the thing is, in those moments, that's when throwing in the towel sounds like the best option. But that's when we have to pay extra close attention to the story we're telling ourselves. And honestly, there were moments where I was almost at my breaking point, when I'm just laying in bed and feeling so sick and then looking at all these challenges and obstacles and not having the energy to deal with any of them, and some of them not even being able to control. And then just thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to be like this forever? Am I just going to be laying around feeling like I'm just falling apart, But here are some thoughts that have been personally helpful to me this past week. And I really am feeling much better. But here are some things that I kind of kept saying in my head to keep me going. Things feel hard right now, but this is a low point and I won't always feel this way. These challenges help me to appreciate the good times. I'm grateful for blank. I would sit in bed and think about all the things I was grateful for. I'm grateful I have a bed. I'm grateful I'm warm. I'm thankful I can heal. I'm thankful for the good things going on, and I just kind of went through those. Also, just the thought that this will help me to have more empathy for others, because I know I'm not the only one going through hard things. In fact, it's very common, right? It's kind of part of life. Another one was I'm learning and growing from these challenges. Being able to realize that in the midst of it, really helpful. I also kept thinking, I know that God's purposes can't be thwarted by these setbacks. I know I have purpose. I know each one of us have purpose. And we're all going to have setbacks, but the purpose isn't going to go away just because we have these challenges. And one final one I just recorded was, once I'm feeling better, I'm going to be extra grateful for my energy and capacity. I actually have a whole nother podcast I outlined on things that I do when I'm sick that help me prepare for when I'll be healthy again and help me to be able to rest and replenish, but then use my mental energy in a way that will hopefully be a benefit when I'm feeling better. So that's one I've got kind of in the works. But really, and if you're feeling healthy right now, I hope that you are using your energy and your health to be able to move forward on the things that you are most excited about. But if you aren't feeling great, or if you're in a low point, and if you feel like giving up, please know you're not alone, but please also know that there is another option. I love the quote by Marianne Radmacher that says, "Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the little voice at the end of the day that says, I'll try again tomorrow." Last night I popped into our Learn to Become community Facebook group, and I read this lovely comment by Anne. She said, "Hello, I stumbled across your pile-busting webinar on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, the day after I decided to take a 6-month break from my job search to focus on my home and family." And then she shared, "I was laid off in January. It felt like a direct answer to my prayers. Thank you so much for creating what you've created and putting it out boldly in the world so that people like me can find it. I'm more than halfway through my step implementation and feeling more hopeful and energized than I have in a long time." And I read that and shared it with Eric. I'm like, oh, look how sweet. I love picturing Anne building her Step Command Central. And I love the thought of her taking time to focus on her home and family and creating a system that will help her to calm her mind and take care of herself and feel better equipped to meet the needs of those she loves. And while I don't do this work because I need people to thank me, I'm grateful to know that my efforts mean something to someone. And I think, that's what we all want, to know that the energy we put into the world and the good we try to do actually makes a difference. And sometimes we don't see it. And in fact, I'm pretty sure that most of the time we don't see it. So today I just wanted to send a virtual hug and remind all of us that obstacles are inevitable, but if we mentally prepare ourselves for them and maintain that growth mindset and prepare ourselves to endure and overcome the challenges we face, we'll eventually see the benefits of our efforts and know that all that trying really was worth it. Okay, sending huge hugs. If you have not attended our free training, How to Finally Stop Drowning in Piles, you can find that at learndobecome.com/step. And if you want to be in our Arise membership, in this coming month in April, we're going to be focusing on the nuts and bolts of dreaming. And I'm actually really excited about this month's topic, and the class we'll be teaching next week, because we're going to be going into, well, what does dreaming actually look like? And what if you do have these low moments? And what if it doesn't feel like dreams are coming true every day? And what if we don't know if we're pursuing the right dreams? Or what if it's not happening as fast as we wish it would? And so we're going to have a really fun time talking about that in Arise. Plus, you can have access to the Arise library, which has amazing discussions and classes and community compilations, I guess I can call it, where we work together to be able to help one another. And I love it. So anyway, find out more about Arise at learndobecome.com/arise. And I'm just sending a huge hug. Okay, take care. We'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.